viewers, you are welcome once again to my channel. In this video, we are going to look at how to install Kali Linux operating system in a virtual machine. I already have my virtual machine installed here and have my Kali Linux package ready. You can check in the description. I've included the link to download Kali Linux operating system and then the virtual machine workstation. Let's get started. This is my virtual machine, so I'm going to launch it. When you look at the left pane, you can see all your virtual machines installed there. This is the window that will appear when you first open your virtual machine workstation after the installation. Now, to install an operating system, you have to go to File and then click New Virtual Machine. You will see this dialog pop up and then you have to choose Typical, which is the recommended selection at this stage. So now you have to make sure that the selection is right on I will install the operating system later. Then click Next. In case you want to install a different operating system like Microsoft Windows or any other operating system, you can choose between these options. But I will leave Linux as the default selection since you are going to install Kali, which belongs to Linux. You see, we have various distributions of Linux operating systems. You have Ubuntu, CentOS, Parrot, and so many of them. But for now, I'm going to install Kali Linux. So when you click this drop down button, you find all the distributions here. In this pop-up, you won't find Kali Linux specifically. So you have to choose other Linux distributions like other Linux 5x or later kernel 64-bit. Just choose this option and click Next. So here we are going to give a name to our virtual machine. The name will be displayed on our left pane. The name will appear on the left pane when we launch our VMware virtual workstation. So you have to give it a name. I'm going to name it Linux Test. Then you browse and then choose the location where you want your virtual machine to be installed. So here we are going to choose browse and select our preferred location. If not, you can decide to leave the default selection. Click OK and then you click Next. This pop-up window came, so I have to click Continue. And this is where you have to choose the size of the physical drive which you want to allocate for your virtual machine. By default, it selects 8 gigabytes. You can decide to increase it or decrease it. I want 20 gigabytes to be dedicated for my Kali Linux operating system, so I just choose 20 here. Then leave split virtual disk into multiple files as the default selection and click Next. Now this is the description of all your options. So you have to click Finish. Voila! Our virtual machine is ready to be started. But first, we need to configure it and make sure that Linux package is plugged in so that when the virtual machine boots, it boots from our package. So we'll go ahead and click Edit Virtual Machine Settings. In this dialog, we are going to change the size of the allocated memory. By default, it's dedicated 768 megabytes, which is too small. If you have a larger RAM available, you can decide to allocate about 2 gigabytes or even 4 to your virtual machine. But I only have 4 gigabytes in my machine, so I'm going to select 1 gig for this virtual machine. Just increase it. Now 1 gig, yeah, it's okay. So the next thing to do is to plug in the Kali Linux installation package. This is how we do it. You have to come to cd/dvd IDE. When you click on it, you will see this pane. Now select Use ISO image file. Select that and click on Browse. Here you have to move to the location where our Kali package is. In my case, I downloaded it using downloads, and here is Kali Linux 2021.3. So I double click, then click OK. There are so many configurations you can make in the edit virtual machine settings, but make sure that you don't tamper with some key features which may cause a distortion in your setup. For example, when you increase the number of processes, you might allocate more to the virtual machine than to your host, which might cause inconsistencies in your virtual machine. Click power on this virtual machine. Let's wait for it. Wow, so you have to click in here and then the virtual machine workstation will capture your mouse input. Now you are able to use your keyboard to navigate. So you can see you can move up and down with your keyboard arrow keys. Select graphical install and we go. We're waiting. At this stage, you are going to select the language. So that depends on you. And click continue. Choosing United States. Now I want American English. So I just click continue. So we wait. This process is going to take a bit much of time. So I'll speed it up for us to move on to the next session. So I speed up the part of installation. Now here we are. It is asking for a host name. We leave this by default, Kali. You can skip the domain name by clicking continue. Here we are going to type in our full name. My name, Rosie, and continue. The name you want to use for your account name. Here you have to choose your password. I'm going to use this as my password, as my time zone. I'll click continue. This is where we are going to deal with these partitions, but we'll keep everything simple in order to get our Kali up and running for now. And later we will dive in deeper into how to set up and partition your disk drives in Kali. But for now, you have to use the guided option, which is use entire disk. So select and click continue. Leave everything by default and click continue. All files, let's go. Continue. Select yes as the option to accept the changes made to the disk. In this case, we allow the operating system to technically partition our disk for us, so we don't need to configure anything else. By selecting yes, you accept the changes made by the operating system. Then you click continue. And this too might take quite a long time, so we have to, speed up a bit. Here we are being asked to install the grab loader to our primary drive. So we just choose yes as our option and click continue. Now we are going to select this disk, dev/sda. Select that one and click continue. At this stage, click continue. Just finish up. Woohoo! So here you have to select Kali GNU Linux. Woohoo! Now we have an element we can Kali Linux with them. So we just wait for the operating system to boot up. Wait a bit. Have patience. It's worth it. Oh, Okay, here this is the login screen, so you have to enter our credentials to get logged in. So here I use Owusu, and this is my passkey. And I click login. Now we have an elegant looking Kali Linux operating system installed in a virtual machine. We can toggle a full screen clicking on this very button here. So when you hover over it, you can see enter full screen mode. Just click on it. You can decide to pin the menu bar here by clicking on the pin icon. With get pinned, you can unpin it again with the same icon. So let's try typing out something to see how it looks like. So echo, hello Kali, how are you? If you enjoyed watching this video and want to learn more about Linux operating systems, give it a thumb of like, hit the subscribe button, and click on the notification icon so that you will get an alert anytime we drop a new video.